Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Yesterday, I was joking about where I'm sitting, that I'm sitting here because I'm going to get married. Joking about getting married. Yes? But a not so joking part of this, behind me, you see this image of a swing. So now my side hustle is that I facilitate vivahas. I had 2 this year. A seeker in our community, I facilitated his vivaha. In our culture, before you come to the actual vivaha or ceremony, the potential couple sits on a swing. Not just those who are Gujarati, but everyone. They sit on a swing. And the reason for this is that when you're by yourself, balancing on a swing is relatively easier. But when you're with another and others, then balancing on that swing is harder, and you have to be prepared for that. So it is symbolic for the more you associate with articles being circumstances, the more change there's going to be. And that doesn't mean you have to escape from it, but rather prepare for it by balancing yourself. Such beautiful symbolism in our culture. And this is what we do in Meaningful Mornings. We are a community that is coming to unity. We center ourselves in the morning, and then we try to stay centered through our day. In a recent Thursday night study group, the discussion subject I had given everyone was, what is holding you back from your day? So you are holding you. What is it that is holding you? And lots shared. Insecurity, fear, etc. What was very powerful about this, I felt like it was the devas or the males who were sharing more. I appreciated them expressing their vulnerability. And so naturally then their raw or reflection adventure of the week was to fight what is holding them back. To fight insecurity, to fight fear. What's holding us back is within, not without. Your car is not holding you back. The weather is not holding you back. What's holding you back is within, so naturally your fighting or investing should be within also. Logically, you agree. And that is why in chapter 16 and 17, which are an appendix to Bhagavad Gita, there is much usage of the term Sura, Asura, and Rakshasa. The Rakshasas are heavy vices. The Asuras are light vices. What is a heavy vice? Being angry. What is a light vice? Being annoyed. Correct? The intensity is different. This is what, in this chapter particularly, Shri Krishna is guiding us to let go of. The theme of chapter 18 is Tyaga. Tyaga means renunciation. Our instinct in terms of Tyaga is change your clothes, change your name, change your relationships. But that's outside. My clothes are outside. My name is outside. My relationships are outside. But these vices are inside. This is what needs to be let go of. Forget my English. And so this chapter is about Shraddha. What does Shraddha mean in English? To hold on. The more faith one has, that their nature is virtuous, their nature is joyous, the more one will let go or engage in Tyaga of the Rakshasas and asuras. Is this personal to everyone? When this message is not personalized, then this is just history. At one time, Ravana lived. At one time, Putana lived. But there's no relevance to us today. In verse 5, Shri Krishna shares what impedes our Shraddha. He gives a sequence. It starts with kama, which technically means desire, but think, why do you have that desire? Because you feel incomplete. You feel unhappy. So we project this. Next in this sequence is raga. I project completion onto you and I get attached to you. Next in this sequence, what does this only deepen? Ahankara. When I'm attached to someone, there's very much a relationship of expectations, correct? I did this for you. I'm doing this for you. You should do this for me. So much doership. And then finally in this sequence is damba, or hypocrisy. I'm part of Meaningful Mornings. I'm studying Bhagavad Gita. I know I should be independently joyous, but I'm not following through. I gave you 3 definitions of Shraddha. The most technical, faith. The most language-oriented, to hold on. But the most practical, it is to follow through. In verse 6, Shri Krishna shares those who have little faith are little, and so they live for the body. One with little faith, one who's little, they only live for the body. Eat, drink, and pretend to be merry. When for those who are part of the highest vocation, we are training ourselves that the body is for living, not the other way around. The body is an equipment that is to help me be a human, to be humane, to be independently joyous. When I was looking at the number of people joining us for the highest vocation and now Meaningful Mornings on the weekend, the concept of a weekend, I no longer understand. I've been with people where they've shared with their children in front of me, be religious, but don't be too religious. And so I challenge those parents to share, change the word to happy. Then it would be happy, but don't be too happy. That would be awful parenting, correct? If I saw my kids smiling so much, hey, why are you smiling? Be like me. So a weekend is the same way, correct? That I'm disciplined Monday to Friday, but now I deserve indiscipline on Saturday and Sunday. To me, the deep sentiments revolving around this is what you're doing Monday to Friday is not so meaningful. That's why you stop it on the weekend. Correct. And another is the notion of self-care. Our idea of self-care tends to be quite short-term. Eat more, drink more, sleep more. Isn't that what happens on weekends? Which is why I'd shared earlier, post being 21, when you become an adult, essentially, in many legal, immoral ways, there's no need to celebrate your birthday. There's no need to celebrate a weekend. What one should be loving is discipline. And so the whole idea of don't be too religious, don't be too happy, don't be too disciplined, those are really immature thoughts. Vivekji, what was that rating again? Initially, we gave you a 30. Now we're putting it at 300. We continue into verse 7, which is the table of contents for forthcoming very practical verses. Tomorrow's verse is about food. Somehow this is all coming together. Aharastvapi sarvasya trivido bhavati priyaha yajnastapastata danam tesham bhedam imam shrunu. Joy. This verse is also a seed for chapter 18. Okay, this is an important verse, starting with. Tu in Sanskrit means indeed. In Hindi, what does it mean? You, in an aggressive way. Wake up! I'm speaking to you. Ahara sarvasya. For everyone, their ahara is of a certain nature. Naturally, this will be elaborated upon. If you're studying the details of these verses, in verse 3, Sri Krishna shared, Sattvanurupa sarvasya. That means all have a specific personality. Now the word has changed to ahara. All have a specific, when I say ahara, what do you think of? Food, of course. But for those who are students of philosophy, ahara doesn't mean food. It is hara, like harati, which means to take away. When we chant Hari Om, the word Hari means the one who takes away ignorance of one's nature. What is one's nature? Om, or infinity. Hara, doesn't mean to take away, it means to bring near. That's what we do with food, correct? When you're a child, there's no ahara, it's everywhere. It's in your hair, it's on your knees, and so on. But eventually it becomes ahara is just that which comes near. But so does music and movies and so on. Clearer about ahara. We all input in a specific way. Next quarter, trividho or trividha, there's a classification of 3. Bhavati, this relates to food. And now he's calling Prince Arjuna Priya. Priya means the one who is dear. Priya means the one who is beautiful, not externally, but internally. In verse 2, Shri Krishna shared, Trivido bhavati shraddha. There are 3 faiths. Now he's saying that this faith of 3, he's giving examples of how this applies to food, etc. But please remember how this chapter started. It was Prince Arjuna questioning his faith. And now Shri Krishna is calling him Priya. I have faith in you. You should have faith in you. Now the 3rd quarter. This is the key point that spreads through this chapter and chapter 18. Verbs like yajna, tapa, dana. Here is the traditional definition of these. Yajna means dedication. If you're dedicating, then there has to be tapa, which means sacrifice. What do you do when dedication and sacrifice come together? Dana, which means donate. Okay, that's the traditional meaning. I'm dedicating myself. In this, there's a sacrifice. What I'm sacrificing, I'm giving away. And that's why I shared. Those who are dedicated, they don't know what they're sacrificing, and I'd shared, they don't feel that they are less. If I donate to you and I feel poorer, that's not yajna, tapa, dana. Now I'm sharing with you an interpretation from Pujya Swami Tejo Mayananda. The sequence starts with tapa. Tapa means to conserve. Yajna means to channel. You conserve, you channel, and such a lifestyle, dana means creates. you are a creative, productive contributor to all you touch, all you associate with. See how lovely it is to study this? Otherwise, just a typical definition. Yajna, tapa, dana. It will come 15 times in the next sequence of verses. And we normalize it in the sense that we just take it for granted. There's lots of ways to think about this, which we will. Tesham, these, bhedam, the classifications or differences, imam shrunu, listen or actively learn. That means you're listening and reflecting simultaneously. Final reflection here. One of the Marvel movies, I think, was called Endgame. I think it was called Endgame. And I think there's a movie and video game called Endgame. This I'm changing to End Gaming. If you follow this, this will lead to your end game. End the game of dejection, anxiety, sorrow. Shri Krishna is sharing his valedictory address. Do this, and you will be like me, you will be with me. Yajna, tapa, dana. Please keep reflecting on personalizing this. From inspiration to application, this past week, one of your applications was to register for United Consciousness's conclave. I had shared with our United Consciousness board that I am committing to have 100 seekers in our community register. So this is a matter of my izzat. Either you will make me successful or besharam. So even if you don't attend, do it for me, okay? Then your application yesterday was, what are the best and not so best offerings in our community? And I hope you've shared some of this, the notes that I have made on. The best offerings are those that help us to reflect the most. So whatever is helping you reflect the most, that is the best offering. Because through that you evolve, and when you evolve, then you help. Then you help. Your application for this morning is, on behalf of all of us who are offering our dakshina, our gratitude to Rupa, and now to Jignya, we're continuing to celebrate Navaratri, and we put our Devis, or our divine women, in an altar, which is factual, but I also feel the opportunity to express oneself is a great way to worship during Navaratri. So our Devis, Rupa, Jignya, and more you will meet, are facilitating health and happiness. Make sure you're part of this asana, this class from 7:15 to 7:45. This will all be ended on November 11th. Shanti, 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 be joy.